The New Orleans Safety and Permits Office is responsible for inspecting construction projects across the city to make sure that they're safe.
Yeah, but our David Hammer investigation, Hidden Dangers, found more and more construction is being done, and that is without the required permits.
That's costing the city millions, and it might be costing construction workers their lives.
Michael Forster's construction business has been very busy the last few years.
We got the blocking going in.
But getting permits to do work in the city of New Orleans has been a constant source of frustration.
Just short of 2 months for a sidewalk replacement in a private building. I've got a permit going on in Chalmette right now for a project. That works, no problem. Harvey, Jefferson Parish, no problem. So it can be done.
New Orleans Chief Administrative Officer Gilbert Montano recognizes the city's building permit process is broken.
Basically the front door to development, building, and revenue generation for the city. Needed a facelift, needed an overhaul, needed some significant reform.
Reform after our investigation in February 2020 found 3 city inspectors falsified their reports at the Hard Rock Hotel construction site before 18 stories of steel and concrete collapsed and killed 3 workers. After 3 other inspectors pled guilty to federal crimes for falsifying reports on other projects across the city. And after 3 more were fired when we exposed a web of self-dealing in the plumbing inspection office and the FBI raided it.
We are starting anew. This is a complete overhaul of the organization from almost top to bottom.
But 3 years later, that overhaul is still a work in progress.
Progress was slower and inhibited from COVID, but our eye's still on the ball in rebuilding and establishing that trust.
Trouble is, the problem has now shifted from faking permits to working without them. In September, 50-year-old Jose Bonilla was electrocuted while installing plumbing lines for a whole house renovation in the Leonidas neighborhood. Records show the contractor never got a permit, so the electricity wasn't shut off until after Bonilla was found dead under the house.
There's a safety issue and then there's a lack of revenue issue.
City data show more than 29,000 building permits were issued every year from 2015 to 2018, but that dropped to under 24,000 each of the last 3 years. And so has the city's revenues from permitting fees. From more than $12 million a year in 2017 and 2018 to just $8.5 million in 2020. With a red-hot housing market and more storm repairs, the number of permits and the amount collected in fees should have been going up the last 3 years, not down.
I think that's a reflection of how many projects are being done, large and small, without permits.
Forster alone has sent the city photos of more than 24 building projects that showed no permits on the city's one-stop permitting app. It's dangerous, it costs the city money, and it's also unfair to contractors who follow the rules.
You're at the limit where you think, maybe I shouldn't even bother to get a permit. Because nothing happens to people who don't get a permit if they do get caught. I mean, it almost seems like they get expedited in the permit process.
Take this second-story addition on an uptown house last year. Forster reported it in March, and nothing was done. He complained again a month later. This time, the city stepped in and issued a stop work order. On May 11th, the city inspected the property and issued a violation. But less than 2 weeks after that, on May 24th, the city granted the permit so work could proceed.
They should go to the bottom of the pile, not the top of the pile.
Montano says the city is still 20 to 30 employees short of what it needs to keep up with permit applications. So the city is turning to 4 private sector firms to add 23 employees at a cost of more than $2 million. One of the new outside staffing firms, Safe Build out of Colorado, is advertising for people without permitting experience to come to New Orleans to change careers. And the city of Denver recently blasted Safe Build employees for failing to keep up with structural reviews there, a key part of assuring new buildings would be safe.
They have to be qualified for the work that they're going to do, and they'll have to pass musters.
Montano hopes building new permitting offices in Orleans Tower across from City Hall will make the process more user-friendly.
You're on ground floor of what should be completed in May. maybe June, depending on the contractor's schedule.
And he says a new app is planned to let contractors follow their permit applications through the approval process.
I mean, I've always used the Domino's pizza example, where you know where it's in the oven, you know where it's going next, and then when is it actually ready to be delivered.
But Forster and others say new offices and apps won't solve the problem.
I don't know why they have to reinvent the wheel. Just copy what somebody else is doing or farm it out to the state fire marshal.
Hire more and more qualified staff, they say. It will bring the city more revenue, and it just might save people's lives. David Hammer, Eyewitness News.
A city spokesperson said the new offices on the 8th floor of Orleans Tower won't cost the city any money. They're being built by the landlord using an improvement allowance in the city's lease of $540,000.